So today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 24, Text 52. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayasva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naisthiki Tvam Sarvalokasya Surhet Priyeshwaro Hyatma Gurur Jnanam Abhishta Siddhi Tathapi Loko Nabhavantam Andhadhi Janati Santam Hridi Baddha Kamaha Tvam Sarvalokasya Surhit Priyeshwaro Hyatma Gurur Jnanam Abhishta Siddhi Tathapi Loka Nabhavantam Andhadhir Janati Santam Hridi Baddha Kamaha Tvam Sarvalokasya Surit Priyeshwaro Hyatma Gurur Jnanam Abhishta Siddhi Tathapi Loka Nabhavantam Andhadhir Janati Santam Hridi Baddha Kamaha. Tvam Sarvalokasya Surit Priyeshwaro Tvam Sarvalokas Tvam, you, my dear Lord, Sarvalokasya, of all planets and their inhabitants, Surhit, the most well-wishing friend, Priya, the most dear, Ishvaraha, the Supreme Controller. He also, Atma, the Supreme Soul. Guruhu, the Supreme Teacher. Jnanam, the Supreme Knowledge. Abhishta Siddhi, the fulfillment of all desires. Tatha api, still. Lokaha, persons. Na, not. Bhavantam, unto you. Andhadhi, because of blind intelligence. Janati, can know. Santam, situated. Hridhi, in his heart. Baddhakamaha, because of being bewildered by material lusty desires. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My Lord, you are the supreme well-wishing friend of everyone, the dearmost friend, the controller, the super soul, the supreme instructor, and the giver of supreme knowledge, and the fulfillment of all desires. But although you are within the heart, the foolish, because of lusty desires in the heart, cannot understand you. Please repeat after me. My Lord, you are the supreme, well-wishing friend of everyone, the dearmost friend, the controller, the super soul, the supreme instructor, and the giver of supreme knowledge, and the fulfillment of all desires. But although you are within the heart, the foolish, because of lusty desires in the heart, cannot understand you. Purport. Herein, the reason for foolishness is described, because the conditioned soul in this material world is full of materialistic, lusty desires. He cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although the Lord is situated in everyone's heart. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tishtati. It is because of this foolishness that one cannot take instructions from the Lord. Although the Lord is ready to instruct everyone, both externally and internally, the Lord says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. In other words, the Lord can give instructions on devotional service by which one can return home back to Godhead. Unfortunately, however, people do not take to this devotional service. The Lord, being situated in everyone's heart, can give one complete instructions on going back to Godhead. But because of lusty desires, one engages himself in materialistic activities and does not render service to the Lord. Therefore, one is bereft of the value of the Lord's instructions. By mental speculation, one can understand that one is not the body, but a spirit soul. But unless one engages in devotional service, the real purpose of life is never fulfilled. The real purpose of life is to go back home, back to Godhead, and live with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, play with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, dance with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and eat with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These are different items of ananda, spiritual happiness in spiritual variegatedness. Even though one may come to the platform of Brahma Bhuta and understand his spiritual identity by speculative knowledge, One cannot enjoy spiritual life without understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is indicated here by the word Abhishta Siddhi. One can fulfill the ultimate goal of life only by engaging in devotional service to the Lord. Then the Lord will give one proper instructions on how to go back home, back to Godhead. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swamin Nitinamine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripapadayane Gaurakata Dhamadaya Nagra Gramatarine Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. So, this is a wonderful purport by Srila Prabhupada. Herein Srila Prabhupada is speaking about how the Lord is giving us the opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead, back to the spiritual world. This is the actual identity of the living entity. Jiver Swarup hai, Krishner Nityadas. As Srila Prabhupada gives the example of the fish out of water, that the fish, even if you put him on a throne, he will not be happy as long as you don't put him back into the water. Similarly, the living entity can only be happy when it is placed in its constitutional position as the eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Due to the minute free will given to this living entity, the living entity chooses to enjoy separately from the Lord. And because of this mentality to enjoy separately from the Lord, the living entity undergoes the sufferings in this material world, wherein the living entity is trying to lord it over the material nature, but the living entity is baffled in every step, because every step he makes to enjoy his material atmosphere, enjoy the material world, he is faced with Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Doshanu, Darshanam. He is faced with birth, death, old age and disease, and the three types of miseries that are there in the material world. For example, the Adibhautika, the Adidaivika, and the Adhyatmika kleshas. So, as the living entity is trying to enjoy itself, the Lord, who is the eternal friend of the living entity, the Lord who is the most merciful and the closest to the living entity, is accompanying this living entity. The Lord, when the living entity desires to enjoy separately from the Lord, he understands that this desire of the living entity is foolish. Out of his foolishness, he is trying to enjoy separately from me. So therefore the Lord, out of his causeless mercy, out of his compassion, he accompanies the living entity as the Paramatma. And the living entity comes into this material world, and in different conditions, kabhu swarge, kabhu raja, kabhu praja, sometimes in the heavenly planet, sometimes in the hellish conditions, sometimes as king, sometimes as ordinary citizens, the living entity is trying to enjoy this material world. But the Lord is constantly there with him. And the Lord is constantly indicating to the living entity that, my friend, you will not be happy in this situation. But because of the coverings of the material nature, the living entity does not find its way out, cannot find his way out. And then the Lord comes as Guru, as Shastra, as Sadhu, and he tries to recover the living entity. But the living entity is grossly entangled, and this entanglement comes due to his attachment. As he enters the material world, he becomes attached to different types of sense gratification. And these material, temporary sense gratificatory items are alluring to the living entity. And the living entity tries in different ways to enjoy. Sometimes the Lord is so close to him. Like we find in the example of Sugriva. Sugriva was crying for mercy. Sugriva was a genuine devotee of the Lord. But because his brother threw him out of the kingdom, so then he was running around in different hills. And finally, he found one particular hill called Rishyamukh Parvat. He was hiding there because all other places were accessible by Bali. And Bali would go and antagonize and harass him. So, for safety reasons, Sugriva, he had taken shelter of the Rishyamukh Parvat. But when, by the mercy of Hanuman, Sugriva got to become friends with Lord Ramachandra. You see, the friendship was actually awarded by Hanuman. So we always require the help of the pure devotees, the close associates of the Lord, in order to regain our connection with the Lord. When Hanuman finally approached Lord Ramachandra, explained to him about the precarious situation of Sugriva, the Lord also apparently described his situation. And then the two of them, they became best of friends. But when they became friends, once the living entity got the friendship, when Sugriva got the friendship with the Lord, immediately, because of some reasons that was posed by the natural surroundings like the rainy seasons and the others, Sugriva, in the name of trying to rectify his kingdom, he immersed himself in sense gratification. And the attraction to his sense gratification was so strong that the Lord had to send some strong reminders. And the reminders came in the form of Lakshman. And Lakshman came and reminded him that, you foolish living entity, what are you doing? You are supposed to be engaging in the service of Ram, but here you are engaged in sense gratificatory activities with your so-called courtesans and others. So then Sugriva was immediately reminded, yes, my job is to serve Ram. So in this way, the Lord, in different capacities, He is constantly reminding the living entity. And in this age of Kali, the Lord, He takes a different form. He takes the most munificent, most benevolent form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to remind the living entities. He comes at the door of the living entities. Enechi aushadhi maya nashivar lagi. He comes and he begs the living entity, please come back. Please come back to the service of Krishna. Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Karo Krishna Shikha. Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dhanapran. The living entity, he goes out. Jeev jago, Gora Chand bole, Koto Nidra jao maya, Pishachir kole. The Lord comes out on the streets and he addresses the living entities. How long are you going to be sleeping in this lap of Maya? Wake up to the reality. And that reality is Jiver Swaruphay Krishner Nityadas. So, Srila Prabhupada, in this purport, he makes a very wonderful point. He says that the Lord is inviting the living entity. The real purpose of life is to go back home, back to Godhead, and live with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Play with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dance with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And eat with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In one sense, we can take this as a blessing from the pure devotee Srila Prabhupada. That he is actually inviting us, that he has this opportunity, this practical opportunity is available to each and every one of us. We just have to approach the Lord through his genuine, authorized, pure devotees, through the spiritual master, through Srila Prabhupada. If we beg Srila Prabhupada that yes, please allow me to also enter into that realm, enter into that arena where the Lord is eternally dancing with the living entity. The Lord is eternally playing with the living entity. The Lord is eternally having wonderful feast with the living entity. When we see the cowherd boys and Krishna having prasadam together in the forest, it is such a wonderful phenomena. And actually, the Lord performs all of these activities in order to attract the living entity to his eternal service. And that is the only purpose that the Lord has for coming into this material world. He will come as Varaham, he will come as Nrsimha, he will come as Vamanam, he will come as Matsya, he will come as Kurma, he will come as so many unlimited avatara hyasankheya hare sattva nidhe dvijaha yatha vidasina kulya sarasasyu sahasrasaha. The Lord will take innumerable incarnations, and his only purpose in doing that is to simply attract the living entity. The living entity has forgotten, and the living entity is sleeping. And the Lord, his only purpose is to wake up that living entity so that he can really understand what he is doing. In the material world, when we are engaged in family, sometimes we serve the husband, sometimes we serve the wife, we serve the children, we serve the society. But many times we will say, you are no longer my son. Because you have acted in such an abominable way, you are no longer my son. And sometimes we will say, oh, you are no longer my husband, we will divorce you. Sometimes we will say, you are no longer my wife, I will divorce you. But look at the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Look at Krishna. how merciful He is. We, the living entity, forgotten living entities, we continue to forget and continue to actually neglect the Lord. Even after understanding the Lord is with us, the Lord is sitting in our hearts, and the Lord is calling us. Despite that, we will say, no, my dear Lord, I am more interested in my job. I am more interested in my girlfriend. I am more interested in my children. I am more interested in my boyfriend. I am more interested in my game of cricket, or my game of soccer, or my game of so many other things. But the Lord, despite of our such being extremely busy with our nonsensical desires, the Lord never gives up on us. He is with us all the times. In fact, sometimes it is wonderful to see that the living entity is actually in its constitutional position, in its original position. The living entity should be in the position how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us. Ashlishyava pahadaratam pinashtumam adarshanar marmahatam karotuva yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampato mat prananathastu sayeva naparaha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us that we should be in this mood. We should be serving Krishna in this mood. What mood is that? That mood is that, oh my dear Lord, whether you trample me with your feet or whether you embrace me lovingly, you are my eternal master, life after life. The living entity is supposed to be having this kind of attitude towards the Lord. But it seems that the Lord is having this kind of attitude towards the living entity. It seems that the Lord is so loving to the living entity. The Lord loves us so much that despite our neglect, sometimes we act like traitors. Sometimes the father will call the son as a beiman, as a traitor, because of not following the family tradition, or because of acting in a way where the father is humiliated in society. Then the father will call such a son as a traitor. But we living entities, just imagine that if a person who wants to divorce his wife or husband, suppose such a person will say, no matter, okay, you want to be happy in such a way, you can be happy, but I will still provide for you. I will accept everything that you desire. Even if you want to go with another boy, even if you want to go with another girl, I don't mind. Is there such a man in this world? No. Mostly they will say, oh, you are being such a nonsense, you are being such a prostitute, you are being such a debauchee, I give up on you. But here the Lord, again and again and again and again, repeatedly, the living entity makes the same mistake. Even after coming in contact with the Lord, even after understanding that, yes, you are my eternal master and my duty is to serve you, the living entity defaults. The living entity makes mistake. And he goes away from the Lord. He goes away from the Lord into his arena of sense gratification again. But the Lord does not give up on him. Krishna is so kind. This is why Krishna is known as He Krishna Karuna Sindhu. We may show karuna in this material world. Somebody is lying on the side of the street and we give them a cigarette. He says, yes, sir, smoke. Or we give them a plate of food and say, here, have some food. We may show some karuna. But Lord Sri Krishna is Karuna Sindhu. And his karuna doesn't stop. His karuna goes on and on and on and on. He sends Ganga. Can you imagine? You do whatever nonsense, but you can go and bathe in that river, and all your sins will be taken. He comes he sends such great souls as Lord Shiva. What is his activity? To pick up the trash. All the discarded living entities. Nobody will accept them. Everybody will do Dasdik Bandhana to get rid of bhutas and pretas. And Lord Shiva, he will call them near. He will call them near. I heard a song once, many years back, where Parvati is singing to Himavan Parvat, saying that your son-in-law is such a merciful personality that everybody will shoo certain living entities, everybody will shoo them away, everybody will kick them out, everybody will do all the pujas and everything, make all the arrangements so that these people, they don't come near us. But your son-in-law, he will grab them, he will take them all and he will embrace them. This is the nature of your son-in-law. Talking about Parvati is telling Lord Shiva, Parvati is telling Himavan, her father, that this is the quality of your son-in-law. So, this is the mercy of the Lord. And the Lord, he not only sends his pure devotees as Ganga, as Shiva, but he also sends pure devotees as Srila Prabhupada, whom we can get in direct contact with through his books. Srila Prabhupada kindly has given us these Bhaktivedanta purports. Srila Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj and Srila Jananivas Prabhu once, they were giving a lecture in the Namhatta hall. And they said that Srila Prabhupada, he gave up his sleep. Jananivas Prabhu said that Srila Prabhupada, he prayed to Krishna. He said that during the daytimes there is so much activity to do, so much management to attend to. And so I don't get time to do these translations and purports. So you please allow me to do it at night. So Srila Prabhupada, he gave up his sleep. Srila Prabhupada, he sacrificed his rest just so that we could have these books. Then Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj was saying that so how indebted we should be to Srila Prabhupada and how bad we should feel that we don't read these books. We should feel extremely bad and guilty that we are not reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Because if we read Srila Prabhupada's books, what will happen? We will get entrance into the subject matter that Srila Prabhupada is talking about exactly in this purport. Because that is what is going to actually make us happy. Nothing else in this material world is going to make us happy. We have tried everything. We have been Brahma, we have been Indra, we have been Chandra, we have been all these big positions, we have been in big positions. We do not, and none of these positions have given us happiness. And they will not give us happiness. The only thing that will give us happiness is what Srila Prabhupada has brought to us, which is the gift of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That gift, that was Anarpita Charim Chirat, that gift that was never given to us before. In the previous verse, Srila Prabhupada talks about false gurus. There are so many false gurus in this world nowadays. Gurus who are coming with a big plate of sense gratificatory items. You can do whatever nonsense, but you just follow me. This is not what Srila Prabhupada taught us. Srila Prabhupada was the prime example of austerity. Look at Srila Prabhupada and look at what austerities and hardships he has taken. So this is actually the qualities of sadhus. We can see in the Mahabharata, in the character of Bhishma Dev, such a noble personality and heir to the throne, but he gives up. He gives up everything and he takes the life of brahmacharya. And he takes that life and he lives that life up to his very end. And in this way we can see, if we go through the Vedic literatures, we'll find wonderful characters like this. So we should learn from these characters, not these false gurus who will want to marry a 6-year-old girl at the age of 53, at the age of 54. These are not gurus. These are not gurus. These are actually people who are here to destroy our Vedic culture. And we should be, if we keep track, if we keep adherence to Srila Prabhupada's teachings, we will not fall prey to these false teachings. And there will be so many nonsense gurus. And these gurus, they will come and they will give you so many different instructions for sense gratification. And even to the extent that some people, they will say that you can even eat animals. Some gurus, they will say you can eat animals, you can eat fish, you can eat. But actually, no. In human life, one should not be committing these sinful activities. These are great sinful activities. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught as that Krishnera samsar karo chadi anachar. These anachar, these abominable activities should be given up. And if we take to the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, our path back to Godhead is completely cleared. Our destination is marked. And we can proceed very easily and very quickly. Not only that, but in this very life, we can experience that transcendental happiness. That is the wonderful quality of Srila Prabhupada's teachings. That is the wonderful benediction of Srila Prabhupada. That we see that so many Western people, by coming in contact with Srila Prabhupada, their lives have become so noble, so great. This last Thursday, before this, about 10 days back, Thursday, we had a guest in Mayapur. And she was the sister of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj. So she was the younger sister, and she was telling some things about the family. And she mentioned that how Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj's grandfather had owned a paint business. And it was a very thriving business. And throughout America, he owned 4,700 shops throughout the United States of America. And his grandfather, Guru Maharaj's grandfather, he thought that the ideal person who could take up his business would be Jay. They would call him, the family name is Jay. So Jay could take up the family business. No one else was qualified. Because Guru Maharaj, right from the beginning of his life, he showed that he was extremely smart, he was extremely intelligent, and extremely forward. So his grandfather was counting that Jay will take up the family business. But when Guru Maharaj, right from the beginning of life, as we understand, he was searching for the absolute truth. And as soon as he came in contact with Srila Prabhupada or Srila Prabhupada's books, he immediately took off. For him, this huge wealth and this position in the material world was completely negligible. He did not care for all of this. And he went ahead and he took to Srila Prabhupada's shelter. And he did not ever think back. He did not ever return back to his materialistic way of life. He simply took to this, and to this day, he is fighting with his life practically to continue with the instructions of his divine master Srila Prabhupada. So, and we also know similar stories about Giriraj Maharaj also. How Giriraj Maharaj's parents came with a blank check to Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna doesn't need this. Krishna does not need. Krishna is more happy with Giriraj than your blank check. So, Giriraj Maharaj's parents thought that Srila Prabhupada was after money. But actually Srila Prabhupada, like how he said as soon as he arrived in America, that I have not come for your money. Many Indian sadhus come and they try to cheat you by taking your money. I have not come here to take your money. I have come here to give you happiness. I have come here to change your animalistic way of life. So, we can see from the examples of Srila Prabhupada, and these examples are present in front of us. It is not like the story of Lord Ramachandra in Treta Yuga, but we can see these examples right in front of us. We can feel them, we can touch them, we can hear right from their mouths. So here we are, within the 21st century, and Krishna consciousness is as tangible as it was when Lord Ramachandra was embracing Sugriva. Krishna consciousness is as tangible as when Lord Krishna was dancing and playing with his friends in the forest of Vrindavan. Krishna consciousness is as tangible. And that is how it has become tangible. It has become tangible due to the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, due to the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us this medicine to get over our sleepiness, get over our niche-shines, so that we can actually look into ourselves and we can see ourselves who we are. We are Krishna Nityadas. And that can happen how? That can happen through the chanting of the holy names, through the chanting of the Maha Mantra. Krishna has given Enechi Aushadhi Maya na Shivar Lagi Harinam Maha Mantra Lautumi Magi. Krishna has come and he has given us this. Krishna is the same Krishna playing his flute in Vrindavan. He has just disguised himself as his own devotee. And he has come and he has raised his hand and he is simply saying, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. He is going, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And for which purpose? Simply to wake us up. Simply to wake up us. And Srila Prabhupada has done the same. He has gone all over the world and simply taught us Hare Krishna and Hari Bol. And if we take this advantage, then we will be the most benefited. Once we understand this transcendental subject matter, once we take shelter of this transcendental holy names of the Lord, our lives will become sublime. We can actually pratyaksha avagamam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam. We have devotees here. And these devotees, some of them are 40 years in the movement, 30 years in the movement, 10 years in the movement, even those who are completely new. They are all sticking to this. Why? Because there is some rasa. You cannot say that, oh, we are just doing it because I am doing a job, or because I have a position, or because I get some prasadam. No, 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 no. You are all from aristocratic families. You have no scarcity of food. But there was some scarcity. There was some scarcity. You wanted to know who yourself. You wanted to know who you are. And that is why you have come. That is why you have taken to the shelter of Srila Prabhupada. This is the wonderful shelter of Srila Prabhupada. And by staying in this shelter, we will actually feel what Srila Prabhupada is talking about in this project, in this purport. We will feel, and that will certainly happen. Please be rest assured it will happen. We will feel Krishna, we will see Krishna, we will talk with Krishna, and we will eat with Krishna. Srila Prabhupada does not make a false promise. Shastra never makes a false promise. There was a time 500 years ago when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had predicted পৃথিবীতে আছে যত নগরাদি গ্রাম সর্বত্র প্রচারিত হইব মোর নাম. About 100 years back, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they would sit around and they would think, was this just a poetical expression? Will it ever become true? Will Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy ever cross the oceans? One of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers, his name was Dol Govinda Shastri. He was from Orissa. He had mentioned this to Srila Prabhupada, who was Abhay Babu at that time. So, Srila Prabhupada, he was chanting on his japa beads. Srila Prabhupada looked at him and Srila Prabhupada said, one who is completely sold out, wholeheartedly, to the lotus feet of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he will do this task. And he looked at him and said, you don't worry about it. So Srila Prabhupada had the complete conviction that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission would spread throughout the world. Sometimes people would think that Srila Prabhupada was a little bit abnormal. Because Prabhupada would sit and he would say, I have hundreds of temples, I have many, many thousands of followers. But then they would say, but Swamiji, you are just sitting here in this park all alone. What's this? Srila Prabhupada would simply say, only time is separating me from my mission. So, this is the conviction that we can learn from Srila Prabhupada. This is the conviction we can learn from Srila Prabhupada. We can learn about everything practically from Srila Prabhupada. And the best thing that we can learn from Srila Prabhupada is Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada has phrased his society as International Society for Krishna Consciousness. If you translate that Krishna consciousness, what you will find? If some devotee will come to the temple today and say, Prabhu, I want to join ISKCON. What will the New Bhakta department say? Okay, you can join ISKCON. Okay? And then he will tell the temple commander, this devotee has joined ISKCON. And he will engage him in Krishna's service. Maybe he will go and clean the bathrooms. Maybe he will sweep the roads. What is that? Is that Krishna consciousness or not? Of course it is Krishna consciousness. Any service in regards to Krishna is Krishna consciousness. Similarly, you can go step by step. What is Krishna consciousness? Is taking prasadam Krishna consciousness? Yes, it is. Is reading Srimad Bhagavatam Krishna consciousness? Yes, it is. Similarly, is worshipping the deity Krishna consciousness? Yes, it is. So, there are different degrees of Krishna consciousness. And the ultimate Krishna consciousness is what? What Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is performing in Gambhira with Raya Ramananda and Swarup Damodar. What is that? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his Biraha Bhav, in his mood of separation, he is discussing Krishna and his intimate activities with Swarup Damodar and Raya Ramananda. What is that? That is the topmost platform of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness in Viraha Bhav. So that is Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada has given us everything. Some people will say, oh, we have to go here, oh, we have to go there. Please understand, we have to go nowhere. We simply have to go within the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So, just within this two phrases, Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada has capsuled the entire cosmic manifestation along with Golok Vrindavan, everything is there within Krishna consciousness. Once you have Krishna consciousness, you don't need anything else. Because Krishna consciousness is the ultimate goal of life. Isn't it? What else is there? What will we be doing if we go to Vaikuntha? We will be serving Krishna. We will be serving Lord Narayana. What will we be doing if we go to Ayodhya? What will we be doing if we go to Golok? What will we be doing? We will be thinking of Krishna. Isn't it? Huh? So, we will be Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. If you read the Govinda Damodara Stotra, they say that the gopis, while they are churning the butter, they are thinking Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. So the entire spiritual world is performing only Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada, in a small way, we think that, oh, it is just a society. No, it is not just a society. Srila Prabhupada has put everything inside there. This is the expertise of the most intimate servant of Krishna, who is Srila Prabhupada. This is the expertise. So, like Ganga, who is benevolent, embracing everybody, please come and bathe in my waters and purify yourselves. So that what? So that you can be Krishna conscious. So, we are doing all the activities just so that we can remember Krishna. And Rupa Goswami, what does he say? Smartavya satatam Vishnu, Vismartavya najata chit, Sarve vidhi nisedhasyur, etayor eva kinkara. Everything else that we perform, everything else that we do is only subservient to the one rule. What is that rule? Smartavya satatam Vishnu. And if we are remembering Vishnu, if we are remembering Krishna, then what are we? We are Krishna conscious. And if we are Krishna conscious, the purpose of Srila Prabhupada's coming is solved, is fulfilled. And this is what Srila Prabhupada wants. Srila Prabhupada wants that Taro ichha balavan paschatya thantan hoy jate gauranger naam. Asamudra nadanadi loy jate gauranger naam. This is what Srila Prabhupada wants. That let the whole world dance. Let the whole world dance with the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then what will happen? The entire world will become Krishna conscious. And then what will happen? Srila Prabhupada will become very happy. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will become happy, very, very happy. And in turn, we will all become extremely happy. And once we know that this is what we have been, this is what we had been, that we had been such a nonsense, that despite us being a dog, being a cat and trying to enjoy ourselves, despite us being in so many different living entities, in so many different situations, we try to enjoy ourselves. And here was a friend. Here was a friend who never betrayed us. Then what happens? Then, Leelayitena bhuvanani jayatya jasram govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The living entity is completely conquered. The living entity is completely conquered. He falls at the lotus feet of the Lord and he says, my Lord, I never, ever, ever want to leave your lotus feet again. Please accept me in your embrace. Please accept me as Sthita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa shrindubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Any questions or comments? जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की।